Hi, friends. Welcome to Moment to Pause. I'm Fay, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee, out for a walk, or just taking a quiet moment just for yourself. This is our cozy corner to explore yoga, not just the poses or the fancy Instagram stuff, but yoga as a way of living. Today, I want us to really sink into this idea that yoga isn't just about the time we spend on our mats. It's something that can happen anywhere, at any time, at any moment. In fact, right now, as you're listening, taking a pause with me, noticing how your body feels, noticing your breath, this is yoga. It's happening now. Just by being present, mindful, and aware of yourself in this very moment, you are practicing yoga. It's not about doing more, it's about being here. Today's episode is extra special, at least for me, because it's just you and me. I want to share my story, how I found yoga, what it has been teaching me all these years, and why I decided to start this podcast, this little corner for us. As we move through our chat today, I'll be sharing thoughts and stories about how we can carry that presence into our daily lives in the small ways that make a big difference. And before we close, I love for us to take a short pause together. After all, this is the moment to pause. And just for a couple of minutes of breath work and little meditation to set an intention for our day. So, when we get there, find somewhere comfortable to sit or stand, and I'll guide you through it. Nothing fancy, just a few deep breaths to ground ourselves. A moment to focus and a quiet intention to carry forward. All right, my friends, let's get into today's conversation with me. Well, the question is how I found yoga, or I better say, how yoga found me. I discovered yoga at a very, very messy time of my life. I was a full-time student working 3 part-time jobs just to make ends meet. My days were absolutely chaotic, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and honestly, it was so exhausting. I remember it was in July, one of those freezing nights after submitting my university project. I was walking to the train station in Paran when I noticed 2 women walking by with mats under their arm. They will look so happy and calm and light, like a feather floating. And I remember thinking to myself, wait, hang on a minute. What's going on in here? How can they look like this in the middle of the Melbourne winter? And I was clenching, tensing my muscles. I was feeling cold and heavy and exhausted, of course. Curiosity got the best out of me, as always. And I decided to follow them into the place, not very much like gym, but it was more like a studio. I stepped inside, it was nice and warm. And the woman at the reception had this beautiful, incredibly soft, calming voice. She explained that yoga is a gentle way to moving and stretching the body, and it's a wonderful tool to relax. Um, well, I felt very nervous at the time. I didn't really plan to go inside, but I was there feeling awkward and honestly a little bit out of place. I said to myself, well, if it's a relaxing place, let's give it a go. You have been studied hard. Give yourself a relaxing time. I went to the studio, I grabbed the mat, I found my spot, and I looked around the studio. There were some people lying down on the mat, some were sitting with their eyes closed, some people were chatting. The yoga instructor came into the class, again with a very nice, soft voice. The class started. She introduced herself and explained about what the theme was, which I can't remember, to be honest. All I remember that I was constantly mixing left foot, right foot, left hand, right hand. I didn't know the difference between the down dog and the child pose, as if they were speaking a different language to me. That first class, I can say it was totally different from what the lady at the counter described. It was very challenging. It was way harder than I imagined. My mind was racing between all these instructions and what people were doing in the class. My body was wobbly, shaky, and so stiff. And I kept checking my watch, thinking, how much longer? But then, at the very end, lying in Shavasana, something absolutely extraordinary and unexpected happened. I felt this wave of peace washing over me. The energy, this wave of peacefulness was so strange and so strong that I couldn't handle. Without my control, I started crying. Well, I wasn't crying loud because the room was in absolute silence and I didn't want it to disturb anybody. But right there on that mat, I could hear my tears dropping. I even remember thinking to myself, saying, Faye, stop it. What is wrong with you? Are you even normal? What are you doing? It wasn't just the stretches or the exercise. There was something deeper happening. And that feeling, my friends, that gentle, quiet release, that was the seed. After that class, I went to the yoga classes, but my practice was on and off for a while. I kept putting work, school, project over myself. But then my shoulder and neck pain became impossible to ignore. Painkiller weren't helping anymore. So, with advice of one of my colleagues, I visited an osteo. By the end of the session, the osteo told me that you need to go back to your yoga classes and make your practice more often, at least 2 hours a day. And I shockingly, hysterically said, 2 hours a day? I was almost laughing. I thought he was joking, but he was quite serious. It felt like a lot, but I started small. 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. And to keep myself motivated and, of course, save a little bit of money, I paid for a yearly membership up front at the yoga studio in Northcote. At first, my practice was only for the physical benefits: flexibility, strength, tension relieves. But soon, I realized the magic was actually happening off the mat. And it shows itself in a very subtle way. Yoga started showing up in everyday life, in the way I breathe through the stressful moment, the patience I start having with myself and others, and the way I navigated challenges, and even how I approached tricky or toxic relationships. Yoga became so much more than poses. It was a philosophy, a guide to living with awareness and compassion, not just for myself, but for the people around me. So I dove into learning about 8 limbs of yoga, meditation, pranayama, and the beauty of stillness. And let me tell you, my friends, that the learning never stops. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to notice, to practice. Each new discovery felt like unlocking a part of myself I hadn't met before. And honestly, that's what kept me coming back to the mat every day. Then there was a simple, a very ordinary day after practice when I sat quietly, feeling very grounded and very peaceful. An idea popped into my mind. If more people could feel this, the more the more people know about this, the world would be a little kinder and a little softer. I'm also a mother of a 4-year-old. She loves watching me practice yoga. And these days, I practice yoga and cueing myself out loud, saying the names in Sanskrit and in English name just to practice my teaching. I cue myself in a really gentle way and, the movement, the breathing, everything. And my daughter watches me all the time. One day, she comes to me and said, "Mom, come here. I'm going to teach you how to do down dog." And I looked at her and said, okay, show me. And she's like, "Okay, grind through your mat, through your hands and your feet. Shift your hips up and back. Bring your belly close to your thigh and breathe." And I absolutely love this. The way that she explains to me is so cute and adorable. And I absolutely love it. As a parent, I want the best for her. If she could learn even a little of what yoga has taught me at this age, being mindful, compassion, being aware, and live in consciousness, then I had done my job. In that North Korea studio, there was a quote, I think it was from Buddha, and it was on the wall, that stays with me until now. And I totally understand the meaning of it now. At the time, it was just beautiful quote. A candle can light thousands of other candles, and the life of the candle will never be shortened. That's exactly what I want this space to be. A light that can be spread quietly and steadily, so we can brighten the world together. And that's when Moment to Pause was born. Not as a business, not as a project, but as a mission. A space where yoga is welcoming, simple, and something you can weave into your everyday life. This podcast is my way of sharing the beauty of yoga beyond the poses, the handstands, and the Instagram perfect version of it. We'll talk about yoga philosophy in simple, friendly ways, breathing techniques you can use anywhere, mindful livings, how to bring yoga into relationships, work, parenting, and personal growth. Sometimes it'll be just me, like today, extra special. Other times, I'll bring in guests, teachers, practitioners, and everyday people living their yoga in their own unique ways. The goal? To inspire, to support, and to remind you that yoga is for everybody, every mind, every age, and every stage of life. Now, my beautiful friends, beautiful souls. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment together to pause. You don't need to be anywhere fancy. Just whenever you are, soften your shoulders, relax your jaw, and close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Let's take a 3 slow, steady breaths together. Inhale deeply through your nose. Feel your belly expand. And exhale gently through your mouth, letting go of any tightness. Again, inhale, feeling the space in your chest. And as you exhale, soften just a little more. Last one. Slow, deep breath in. Let it go completely. Now I want you to set an intention for the rest of your day. It can be one word, a feeling you like to carry, or even a gentle reminder to yourself. Something that will guide you like a quiet friend in the background. Take a moment to breathe that intention in. Breathe it out completely. Let it settle into your body. And now when you are ready, give yourself a little smile. Blink your eyes open and come back to your space. Thank you so much for joining me for this very first episode. If today's story resonates with you, I'd love it if you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you feel like sharing, send it to a friend who might need it today. Share this with a friend who could use a little more peace and presence today. This is just the beginning, and I can't wait to grow this space with you. Until next time, keep breathing, keep moving, and keep living your yoga. Namaste.